October, we are going to talk about Germany. And we are going to talk about Germany because their Klassiker is happening right now. But even when Bayern Munich win, and I say when because they're going to win, they're still not going to be top. They're still going to be 2 points behind top because of Bayern Leverkusen. But our focus this month is on the non-Premier League team of the month, Bayer Leverkusen. Let me show you into the tactics board and a 4-2-3-1 that has a right back playing on right wing. Yes. A center back playing right back, you say? Yes. Granit Xhaka playing as the deepest lying playmaker when he played as a number 8 for Arsenal? Absolutely. Yet another Nigerian forward doing super well in a high-level top team in a top 5 division. Yes, sir. Victor Boniface. Nigeria have such a depth of striker options. I'm so fascinated to see who's gonna get the call-up for the AFCON. This is happening in a couple months. 7 goals and 4 assists for Victor Boniface in the Bundesliga now. In 10 games. 14 goal contributions. 10 games. You know the story, Xabi Alonso coming in with no, top-level coaching experience. He coached the Real Madrid Academies and Real Sociedad B, comes in for his first team job at Leverkusen, brings them from 17th to 6th, and this season they're first. And he's done something super simple and super smart at the same time. He just managed to find a system that ensures that there are overloads absolutely everywhere, that the buildup is taking place, while at the same time being prepared if they lose the ball in terms of the team dropping right back into a solid defensive shape, whether it's going to be for the back or whether Frimpong is going to join the back 5 as it would be. So let's start from the right hand side and move to the left and see kind of how it works, because both sides are involved in build-up. So let's say Hradetsky, hope I pronounced his name right, but he's giving it to Jonathan Tah. Jonathan Tah is going to pass it on to Odilon Kosunu. Okay, so Frimpong is pushing right up and giving a lot of width. Now, attacks, you'll find that attacks will mainly start from the right-hand side. Kosunu has the ball. Palacios will drop in. Frimpong is going to be involved as well. Jonas Hofmann is the right-sided number 10, but he will also drop in. It depends on how the opposition are pressing, and what has helped Xabi Alonso is that it seems like a lot of the teams that have played against them, well, it's worked against every single team because they've won every single game this season apart from a 2-2 draw away at Bayern. I do have questions about how they do it against a particular style of play, but let's focus on how this has been working, because Bundesliga teams will press. So depending on the press, you'll have Frimpong dropping in. I'm going to put some opposition players here from an imaginary team. So give me a sec. Time! So Frimpong is dropping in. Let's say the left back is pressing up. If the winger is marking Palacios, then sure. He'll find Frimpong, and then Palacios is going to drop in. And then the ball get moved on to Palacios into Hofmann. Or, because, well, you have 4 options. So Kosunu can basically just thread it into Hofmann. And then Frimpong will make a run and Hofmann will just play it into him. Or if Hofmann is getting marked, then it's Palacios to Frimpong to straight to Hofmann, and then the attack is on. So because you have this box forming all the time, one of the number 10s dropping in, one of the double pivot is dropping in, and Kosunu at right back is helping build up from the right hand side. You are doing a lot of things because Bundesliga's team's tendency to press. You are utilizing that press to disrupt their shape, and you are using multiple players. You're creating that numerical superiority, and the adventure of those passes, those one-touch passes, makes it quick, and they're clearly so well drilled in this that they find it actually pretty easy most of the time to just come away with the ball, and then you'll find a clear chance to switch the play to Wirtz. If the play is happening on the left-hand side, then Frimpong is still going to hold the width there, But Grimaldo this time is going to advance upfield. Xhaka's going to drop in. Tapsoba this time is going to be tasked with building play from the back on the left-hand side. Wirtz drops in, so again, you have that box. So this time it's Tapsoba, Grimaldo, Wirtz, and Xhaka, and they can do just like Kosunu, Palacios, Frimpong, and Hofmann did on the right-hand side, and then you can get those switches again to Frimpong. Now, Wirtz has a crucial role here. Wirtz is probably the most important player here, because when the ball advances upfield, Wirtz can actually act if the build-up is happening on the right-hand side. Listen, if build-up is happening on the left-hand side, then Wirtz is going to, try to take on the right-back one-on-one. Victor Boniface is going to try to drop in. Boniface has an important role here because whichever side the build-up is happening from, he's going to try to pin one of the center-backs. So if it's happening from the left, this number 5, the right-sided center-back, is being pinned by Boniface. You can get support from Hofmann as well. Grimaldo might do an overlap. And then Boniface can do one of both things. One of two things. He can get the ball from Wirtz and play it into Grimaldo. He can get the ball from Wirtz and turn, or he can make a run because he's fairly quick and he's incredibly strong. So he can get the ball from Wirtz in behind the defense. And Boniface has scored a wide variety of goals. And Wirtz has scored a goal because Boniface has dragged the center back there, and Wirtz made a run in, and Boniface basically squared it into Wirtz, who basically tapped it home. So Boniface has been an incredibly versatile forward for them in the absence of Patrick Schick, who was injured since March until basically now. I don't think he made an appearance yet. He came back from injury in early October, I think it was, and then he got another injury, missed a couple games. So Victor Boniface has been the main man, and it's worked. It's worked times a million. If it's happening on the right-hand side, Wirtz has an important role too, as does Jonas Hofmann. So let's say Grimaldo is going to go back, and we are going to give the ball right back to Palacios. Hofmann's there. Wirtz is basically, we mentioned this free role just behind Boniface. This box can be complemented by Wirtz. So Hofmann can actually drop in, and Wirtz can be there. And what that does, if the left back is on Frimpong here, if, let's say, even the number 6 is trying to mark Wirtz, let's say there are 4 defenders trying to defend this sequence, right? Well, you'll see happen. Let's start with the box again. Hofmann can actually just drop in. Palacios to Hofmann, Hofmann to Frimpong, and Frimpong into Wirtz. And then Wirtz has the freedom to run on defense, and then he can find a pass to Boniface. But what if they lose the ball here? What if number 10 wins it? Let's say if the ball is given to Xhaka in that sequence and number 10 wins it. Jonathan Tah shifts there. Kosunu doesn't shift a long way, really. Palacios can come back and cover for right back as Frimpong makes his way back, and then you still have the double pivot, incredibly compact and close to each other, as they are pretty much all the time, as you can say. You see in the average positions here, this is deliberate that those two are together and they're supporting each other's build-up, because when you lose the ball, you can basically have a quick restructure. Another thing, importantly, about Leverkusen's defensive style is that as soon as they lose it, they try to win it back straight away, and they actually rank top of the Bundesliga in high turnovers. But at the same time, they're very solid in terms of defending actual opposition build-up play, because Palacios doesn't find it difficult to cover for Frimpong. Frimpong, he'll make his way back eventually. Basically have a back 5, and in front of them is a double pivot. And Hofmann, drops in for some support as well. You don't find it often. It doesn't happen often that teams are going to break down Leverkusen defensively. Bayern still have the least expected goals against by some distance. When you're going to score 30 goals in 10 games, it doesn't matter how well you defend or how badly you defend, because you're going to score 3 goals a game, every single game. Yeah, they've been awesome, and I've watched them a couple times. I actually watched the 2-2 against Bayern Munich, and I watched today's game. Yeah, they are kind of slow, and it can look a little bit ponderous in possession, but they'll get chances. They've got a lot of chances every game. So ultimately, it's fun because suddenly it's like it's slow, and then ping pong ping, they make the box and they free up someone. and it's a chance, right? So it's still really fun to watch, and yeah, do watch them sometime, and see if you can find that pattern I was talking about. If you care enough. Aston Villa, they're 5th right now as we record. There's still game week 11 is currently in progress. We're recording on a Saturday, but Villa are 5th, and they're 1 point behind Liverpool, who are 4th. And we've covered their flaws in the channel before on podcast episodes in the past, and how way too committed their high line is, and against pacey forwards, things can get a little bit tricky. And their fixtures, I have to say, as of late, have been helpful in the good run they're having. The win against Brighton 6-1 is insane. That was in September. That was on September 30th. So that doesn't count. The 2 Premier League games that they won were against West Ham and Luton, and they drew to Wolves. And Wolves have had really good results this season, the 2-1 win against City and so on. But there are very few teams in the world, really, that only 10 games in are so well drilled and know exactly what to do at what time, and are calibrated to a T. When a team is so well coached on how to carry out a game plan, it becomes easy for the players to execute more. So the pace of play improves a lot, because players are able to take decisions faster because they're already what to do next. That's been the theme, really, is that every pass seems to be a trigger for the next player to be 2 steps ahead, right? The acquisition of Moussa Diaby has given them a lot of pace up front. What they've started to do is Zaniolo is inverted and Watkins is drifting over to his side. McGinn is inverted and Diaby's drifting over to his side. Because of that, when whichever side the build-up is being played, you see, first of all, overloads on either side, because you have the threat of either forward going in behind the fullbacks, or in that space between the center back and fullback. So defenders are getting shifted, and then the switch is then on. And that's for a reason, right? And I did say, Team of the Month, Aston Villa. Player of the Month, Mohamed Salah. There are 3 Liverpool players you can give it to: Salah, Darwin, and Dominic Szoboszlai. But Salah scored 5 goals in the 3 games he played this October. And I'm sorry, I know Darwin Núñez has goal contributions in a size 3 as well, but there's no chance. Salah has a goal contribution in every single game in the Premier League this season, except for the one against Tottenham where this happened. So, biggest disappointments, Bournemouth. Iraola has let us all down. It is going to turn out to be my worst prediction this season, for sure. 3-0 defeat against Everton. 2-1 defeat, famously, at home against Wolves. And just about winning against Burnley, another relegation contender. The 2-1 defeat against Liverpool on November 1st. Yeah. They just lost today 6-1 to Man City as well. But we're not going to count that. This is in November. We're talking about October here. They are somehow still 17th because Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United are below them. But I just feel massively let down by Bournemouth. I felt like Bournemouth are going to be a real comfortable mid-table team because of Iraola and because of what he proved he could get out of a really low-level La Liga squad in Rayo Vallecano, and it was because of defined principles and the idea that we're gonna lure you into the press, we're gonna play it through you, and we're going to free up people up top. And the press in the Premier League is a lot more intense than La Liga, you could argue, but I just don't think Bournemouth players have been really able to implement that. And there is a sense that Andoni Iraola hasn't been able to adapt to the quality of the squad that he has, and has underestimated what Premier League defenses are able to do. And that's the second worst defense as well. So Everton aren't going down either, are they? For God.